Hello everyone, it is Dirky Dirk, and I do have to talk about the new stuff coming up. You know what I'm talking about, the new battle pass, the 3 factions, all that new stuff, legendary cabins. Gotta talk about it anyway. Please wait to the end of this video because I will have a link to another video from my good friend Sergeant Sanchez. Good news, so he is better. He recovered from COVID, but this is us talking about it, so worth watching. So there was a PR test server that other people have already gotten on. Please go ahead and look at that because that will just show you everything. I can't do that. Mr. Coldfire shows you every single thing you will get for the event. All the parts you can craft, all the pieces, all the armor bits. Mr. G, I'm sure, has done that as well. Treeburgers has also done that. So I can't really tell you that. It's all good. The structure parts are all amazing. The decor is pretty nice too. The portraits, everything is all good. But here I just want to show you some of the new stuff and I guess how I feel about it myself. And this is all courtesy of my friend Coldfire, who was really nice enough to let me screen capture his stream and just so I could share this stuff with you as best as I really can, but please go see him instead. So there is a wasp that is a special. I don't even know what it's called because his frickin' face is in the way. Thank you, Coldfire. But I'm really happy that they have this because locusts, I like wasps, so of course I like locusts. Their perk is not great, but they do more damage, and I like having that. So, in this case, you have a special, which is a special version of the locust. Yes, it's just the same as the wasp, just like the locust really is. So, any little trick that you have to do with them, it'll work with this one as well. But it's a special, and you can craft it. That's why I'm really happy about this. Can't craft a locust, nope. So, if both missiles of the volley hit the target, it increases the blast radius of the next volley by 12% for 5 seconds. Of course, the perk I think is not really useful. Blast radius is not so important. And in this case, you only get the perk if you hit with both weapons, with both rockets, which can be kind of hard to do from a distance. And then it's the next volley, and it's only for 5 seconds. So you have to shoot and get another hit within 5 seconds to enjoy the perk. Yeah, it's not great, but you know what? It's more damage. It's probably, I don't know about the stats so much off the top of my head, but I'm glad there is a special wasp, not just a rare. So it kind of more justifies going into these. Because with wasps, I have a lot of armor. Now I'm going into high PS with rare weapons, which I can do. They're good, but as long as they're hidden. But, you know, why not give us a special? I like it. I really like it. I wish we could have epic wasps as well that we can craft, but, you know. And here is the whirl. So, yeah, it is an autocannon. So, it seems pretty okay, though. I mean, damage output's pretty good. It's got some, well, yeah, it is what it is. Durability is 415. So, it's like a whirlwind. It's still kind of big. You want to hide this totally useless bottom part. So, if there are 2 or more enemies within a 65-meter radius, damage dealt by the cannon will increase by 30%. So this is a completely new perk, completely, utterly new. And here's the thing. So it's kind of like the Echo Cab, where if your build is within a certain radius, your cab is within a certain radius of enemies, you get the perk going. Well, same thing here. As long as there's enemies near the actual weapon, not the cab, but the actual weapons, it'll actually get buffed by 30%. So it's actually pretty good. And autocannons usually don't want to get that close. These ones you certainly can. You get more damage from that. It seems pretty okay, guys. It seems pretty okay. Now, from Coldfire, it doesn't seem like there is explosive effects. So, which is interesting. Yeah, it shoots bullets instead of shells. So there's no real explosion. There's no harpy cab with this one, guys. Here's the other weapon, the Gravis Star, which is, I don't get this one at all. It's a laser shotgun. So in practice, it works just like a shotgun. You wouldn't even know it's a laser thing. So it is a shotgun. It just goes bam, bam, bam. It's got damn good fire rate for a shotgun. Problem is, when it overheats, the whole weapon becomes red, and you know what that means. It heats itself up so you do more damage to it. And the effect is reshot after. So it stays in that state until you shoot again. So they're red for a long time. Very weird. You can definitely come in and blast someone with some explosive damage right from the start and kill them. If you don't kill them, they're going to be stripped like nothing. Like nothing, friends. So I don't know about that. And you get rotation speed for the fusion, which is not really the best one. That's probably the weakest one. So I don't know. I also don't know. It's a laser shotgun. So is it buff I don't know what the deal is. Like, which co-driver actually buffs it? Is it Jade? Is it Bulldog? Is it Photon Cabin if you use some heating with this as well? I don't know that at all. I don't know which it is, or if it's neither. Maybe it's just its own separate thing. We don't know yet. We can't really test that yet. But now is what we've been waiting for, those legendary cabs. That means more energy, right? Well, actually, no. That stays the same. So here is the cohort. I'm going to start with the worst. There's no drone in here. There's no crane arm. It does nothing. Nothing like that. It's huge. It adds a bit more mass limit. Tonnage is higher. And then you still get the mass limit. I mean, the mass is huge. So yes, it's more mass limit, but the mass of this is huge. It should be huge because it's a freaking huge cabin. It turns out it's kind of like a humpy. That's it. It still has 11 energy. So it's legendary, but it still gets that energy nerf. I don't know. That might change. That's probably going to be buffed later on. And this perk is really confusing. All right. It's just so confusing. Okay. So on activation, all right, so it's not like a bastion that plow is always on, quote unquote. No, you have to activate this like an echo or something. It actually has this kind of perk you gotta hit with a key, and when you hit it, the cabin, right? Not the build, the cabin gets 30% damage resistance for 10 seconds. Then there's a cooldown, right? So then there's a cooldown. Okay, so it gives more damage resistance, but you have to hit the button to make it have damage resistance, unlike a bastion. Not really good so far. So here's where it gets really confusing. If there are allies in the line of sight who have fewer than 3 active drones at this point, okay, so they have 2 active drones? That's what that means, right? They have 2 active drones or 1 active drone. They also gain resistance depending on the type of cabin. So your allies also get the buff unless they have too many drones? Or is it their build, their cabin, or is it their drones? What the hell? Maybe it's their cab, because here. So depends on their type of cabin. So your friendly light cabins in the area will have 10% resistance, medium 20%, heavy 30%. I guess you're giving your allies cabs part of your buff. If depending on their cab and depending on if they have drones. What the hell is this, guys? I'm done with this one. Next one is the Dawn's cab, the Nova, and this is pretty self-explanatory. It's like a photon, but its perk is it has an Aegis. Not really an Aegis, it has a frontal shield. You've all seen it, right? It's like 12 units in front of it. I don't think you can build in front of it, or that shield doesn't work. I don't know, but you have this little shield in front of you that can really cover just your front. It's not going to help your neighbors a whole lot because it's not huge. And people all want to have hovers with this, but you can't do side hovers because of where the thing is aiming. And it's not quite big enough to protect your hovers unless you just happen to be lucky. So yeah, I mean, that's it. It's like a photon without that perk. It has a hidden, so all these legendary cabs have like this hidden module. So you're not spending energy on another module. You're just clunking it in the cabin. There's a shield that just for the front of you. Yeah, so pretty self-explanatory. It is what it is. And now there is the Griffin, the Firestarters one. I like this one. So I'm not crazy that it's a light cabin. I'm not crazy about those. The mass limit is always kind of light for what I like. But at least it kind of is interesting. So it has a perk when activated. The player and 3 closest allies are invisible on the radar and become immune to the effects of Oculus or Verifier. A lot of cooldown stuff. Okay, so let's look at this. Now, I don't know if this means it's a cloak. And I don't know if this is really tested. It doesn't seem to cloak. Visually, it's sparking. As far as I can tell, you can still see it. So it's not a chameleon kind of a perk. It just becomes invisible on the radar. Is that what I'm looking at? So your map and your mini-map won't see it if the perk is activated, but you can still see the thing? That's not amazing, but I don't know. You guys tell me. I actually don't know about that. So Oculus and Verifier don't help them. And it also helps your buddies, 3 closest allies. So I like how it's actually doing that for your team as well. So it could be amazing. The only thing I'm not quite sure two things I'm not sure of. First of all, is it invisible? And if it is not invisible, can you have a chameleon? Because like you know, cloak is very, very, very nerfed. I mean, first of all, you can still see them when they're moving. And they never really, I mean, I always see them in game. It doesn't really actually stop me anymore. So I think cloak is definitely nerfed to the ground. Plus you have Oculus, plus you have Verifier that will completely get rid of their cloak. And that's really bad. So in this case, I have a feeling that you have to pair this with a chameleon. So I don't know. You guys can tell me in the comments, but I think that just means that you are invisible on the radar, but not actually invisible. So maybe you pair that with a chameleon and maybe interesting things could happen. I see some potential with this. I like it. It's a beautiful cabin. Nice engine sound. The horns are really boring. I don't know what's up with that. And this is very important. Thank you, Coldfire, again. So the founders are gone. A lot of people don't have armor. What are you going to do? So thankfully, look what they have here. You will be able to go into your badge exchange. And with badges, you can actually buy back your founder's armor. So thank goodness there's some way of getting back the armor. Now, as Coldfire said, I'm pretty sure there's going to be a cap. You can't get more armor than what you could get normally, I would imagine. Right now on the test server, there's no cap, but they've got to have a cap, right? I'm sure they will. So probably, and the same thing will happen with this new event. So if you miss the event, you can still buy back that armor bits by using badges. So at least they have a system for that. I'm glad they have something, because otherwise that's just too much. Alright guys, that's all I got. Coldfire, thank you so much for letting me grab this stuff off of your channel. And I will have fun with this event. Hope you do too. And I will see you guys later. Bye.
Don't drop that Dirky Dirk, hey, don't drop that Dirky Dirk.